Hi everyone. So today marks the first episode of my one ball hand-eye coordination series. In today's episode we will be looking at a boxing inspired exercise. Although I'm not a boxer myself, I'm a big fan and I'd love to know if what I do can have a crossover and help other people in their own disciplines. So you're going to need one ball. I'm using a tennis ball. It's probably the best sort of ball you can use for this exercise, but if you don't have it, you can use another type of ball. Step one, hold the ball out in front of you, hand down, and all you're going to do is release and catch the ball again. Start really small, like this, and get bigger and bigger to get more comfortable. Be loose in the knees, be loose in the body, don't be too stiff. When you're comfortable with one hand, try the other. And then what we're going to ultimately do is move from one hand to the other, like this. You may notice that when I'm doing from one hand to the other, my hands are not completely flat, they're kind of like this. And that's okay, all we're trying to do is avoid turning them over like that. The idea behind this is your hands here are meant to correlate with your hands here. And once you're comfortable with that, all we're going to do is we're going to move from here into your boxing stance. Change your feet, lift your hands, etc. And here guys, this is where you're going to have to apply your own technique. So at this stage, you probably find that you're looking at the ball to catch it. This is obviously fine for learning, but the ultimate goal of this exercise is not to look down at the ball, but it's to look directly forward. You want to look into the eyes of your opponent. And the idea of this is to train your reactions in your peripheral vision. The reason that I think this is important is because when you're in a fight situation or you're sparring, whatever, you need to look at your opponent to see what their next move is, but you also need to be aware of a punch coming from here. So what you don't want to do is look at the punch and then they're going to hit you with their other hand. So I think that's something to keep in mind throughout this whole thing, is to not look directly at the ball, but make sure you're reacting in your peripheral vision. Okay, step two. This certainly isn't an original idea. I've seen it before in other boxing videos, but it is very relevant for this exercise. What you're going to have to do is hold the ball out in front of you, and you're essentially going to release the ball, and you're going to punch and catch it here. So start really slow, you can go here, just punch like that, punch there, build it up as best you can. The idea is the ball stays in the same place and your hands do all the work. When you're comfortable with this, let's combine step one and step two. So what you're going to have to do to get into it is go from here, you're going to throw the first one around like the middle point and you're going to punch it forward, and then from there you can get into the punching sequence. So here, okay, step three, let's add some movement. All you're going to do is start in your basic stance. First thing you're going to do is try and move sideways, just keeping this rhythm up. So you can go that way, one way, then the other. Let's also try going forward and backwards. Right, so let's try and combine steps 1, 2, and 3. So you can start out here, into your punch, a couple of punches. You can then move forward into that, so you can go back to here, then you can go sideways, go back this way, you can go back into a punch. The idea here is not for me to give you a set routine, but really to try and teach you the basic movements, and then you can apply that to whatever you want. In the same way, in shadow boxing, you are essentially free to do whatever you want to do. So if you've made it this far, that's great. Step 4, the final step, this is a creativity stage. The idea is you can use steps 1, 2, and 3 as your baseline, and now you can begin to add in other punches, other movements, play with timing, speed, etc. First example would be advanced punch variations. So you're going to go from here, And now instead of throwing up, catching here, punching forward, you're going to start to make things a little bit more difficult for yourself. Instead, you can throw up, you can punch under, and then you can catch it on the way down. You can do this with either hand. So right now I was doing from my left, punching with my right and then catching with my right. But of course you can throw from your right, punch, and then catch with your right also. So, of course, you can add in other punch variations. I was experimenting a little bit with how to add an uppercut to this. And then you can try and add everything you've learned so far together. I am by no means as proficient as one can get with this exercise. I am throwing the proverbial bone, and I'd love to see how far some of you trained boxers can get with this exercise. I'm sure you can do some really, really cool stuff. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to know your feedback because this is the first time I've made a video like this. And yeah, I think if anything, it's at least a very good exercise for cardio. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Leave me a like if you like the video. Subscribe for part 2, part 3, part 4. I'm gonna do a load of these one ball exercise videos. Maybe not all with boxing, but we'll see. And anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Have a lovely day.